Are the Seattle Seahawks facing a scary dilemma involving star cornerback Devon Witherspoon? Recent reports are raising tough questions about his role, future, or potential contract situation, leaving fans uneasy. Some believe this could affect the team's defensive identity and long-term plans, while others see it as a minor bump in an otherwise promising roster. Either way, whatever unfolds with Witherspoon could have major implications for Seattle's secondary and how the National Football League views the team's defensive strength moving forward. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we've got a story that has Seahawks fans on edge, and it involves one of the most talked about young players in the league, Devon Witherspoon. Now, if you've been following the NFL draft or the Seahawks closely, you know that Witherspoon has been generating serious hype. He was the number 5 overall pick, a cornerback with elite speed, instincts, and the kind of confidence that can completely change a team's defense. But recently, Seahawks fans were hit with a question that honestly left a lot of them frozen in disbelief. A question that makes you wonder what the future really holds for this promising star. And today, we're going to break it all down, piece by piece, because the implications here are huge. It all started during a recent interview that Witherspoon gave to the media. Now, usually, interviews with rookies are full of optimism and excitement. They talk about their goals, their teammates, maybe a bit about adjusting to the pro level, but this one went a little differently. The reporter asked Witherspoon a question that, on the surface, seems innocent, maybe even routine, but for Seahawks fans, it was terrifying. The question was simple. Do you feel ready to carry a defense that has struggled over the past few seasons? Now, most rookies might smile, shrug, and give a diplomatic answer, but Witherspoon's response was complicated. He didn't give a standard answer. Instead, he leaned in, stared down the microphone, and said, "I know I have to make plays, but I also know I can't do it alone." The responsibility is huge, and honestly, sometimes I wonder if the pieces around me are ready to match the intensity I bring every day. Now, pause for a moment and let that sink in. This is a rookie talking about responsibility, about intensity, about the need for his team to keep up with him. For a lot of Seahawks fans, it was almost like hearing someone drop a warning rather than reassurance. Devon Witherspoon is known for his competitive fire. He's the kind of player who wants to dominate and expects excellence from himself and everyone around him. But to hear him express doubt, not about himself, but about the team, is enough to make any fan sit up and pay attention. And it doesn't end there. After that initial quote, Witherspoon went on to give examples of what he means. He talked about film study, preparation, and in-game awareness. He mentioned specific situations from college where he had to adjust on the fly, and how he thrived in a system where his teammates were just as hungry as he was. Then he made a comment that really sent shockwaves. "If I'm the only one playing at that level, it's going to be a long season." Again, not a criticism, but more of a reality check. For fans who have seen the Seahawks' defense fluctuate over the past few seasons, hearing that kind of statement from a top draft pick is both thrilling and terrifying. It's thrilling because it shows Witherspoon's mindset. He's ambitious, fearless, and unafraid to carry a heavy load. But it's terrifying because it subtly highlights a potential gap between him and the rest of the roster. Now, if you look at the context, the timing of this interview couldn't be worse for the Seahawks. The team has been in a period of transition, especially on defense. The secondary has had its ups and downs, and while there are talented players, consistency has been a real problem. Adding a rookie into the mix who already feels like he has to be the spark plug can be both a blessing and a challenge. Some fans have already expressed concern online, saying, what if Witherspoon gets overwhelmed? Or what if he burns out trying to carry everyone else? These are valid concerns because even the most talented rookies need support, both from teammates and coaching. But here's where the story gets more interesting. Analysts who follow Witherspoon closely argue that this is exactly the kind of mindset that could elevate the Seahawks. The idea that he is holding himself to such a high standard and expecting similar standards from others is a hallmark of future All-Pro talent. Players like Jalen Ramsey, Stephon Gilmore, or even Richard Sherman at his peak had this same approach. They didn't just show up, they demanded excellence, and in doing so, raised the level of everyone around them. So while the comment might have sounded scary to some fans initially, it also signals that Witherspoon is thinking like a leader, even in his rookie year. Still, Seahawks fans are understandably cautious. The team's history with young cornerbacks has been mixed, and the last thing anyone wants is to see a high-profile rookie struggle because the surrounding talent isn't ready. There's also the mental side of football to consider. When a player internalizes responsibility to this extent, the pressure can become overwhelming if the results don't come immediately. The question on everyone's mind is, will Devon Witherspoon thrive under this pressure, or could it backfire and become a storyline of rookie too much too soon? Adding another layer, some reports from insiders suggest that the coaching staff is aware of this dynamic. Pete Carroll and the defensive coaches have reportedly been working closely with Witherspoon to ensure he doesn't carry too much alone, and that his rookie year is about growth as much as performance. They know that while his confidence is a strength, it could also lead to frustration if not managed properly. For a team in transition, balancing a rookie's talent with team cohesion is critical. And then there's the fan reaction, which has been all over the place. On social media, there are memes, of course, but also serious discussions. Some fans are calling him a future superstar and a game changer, while others are warning that the Seahawks need to be careful about putting all the weight on his shoulders. The discussion has gone beyond just football performance. It's now about leadership, team culture, and the pressure of expectations in Seattle, a city that has seen both extreme highs and painful lows with their defense. Interestingly, this scenario also opens up questions about the team's offseason moves. Will the Seahawks double down on building around Witherspoon? Are there plans to bring in more veteran leadership in the secondary? Will the defensive scheme be adjusted to protect him while he grows into his role? These are the kinds of strategic decisions that could define not just his rookie season, but potentially the next several years for Seattle's defense. Some analysts have even compared this moment to historic situations in the NFL where a young player was suddenly the focal point of the team's defense. There's a fine line between a player rising to the occasion and a team becoming too reliant on one individual. History shows us both outcomes are possible, and fans are acutely aware of that. The Seahawks are at a crossroads. They have a generational talent entering the league, but they also have to carefully manage expectations, team chemistry, and development. And we can't ignore the human side of this. Devon Witherspoon is still very young. The spotlight, the expectations, and the media scrutiny are enormous. Being asked whether he's ready to carry the defense is not just a football question, it's a personal one. How he handles the pressure, how he communicates with teammates, and how he balances ambition with patience will be key.